Are we going to see more road checks, more stop checks when it comes to testing for cannabis behind the wheel?
You know, the thing about that is you can't randomly test for cannabis, right? You can for alcohol. And that was just a recent change made through federal legislation. But you can't pull someone over in a stop check or just pull someone over in a traffic stop. And absent of any signs of impairment by drug, you can't just randomly test for sobriety of drug use. So that's with this instrument, the Draeger 5000 that people like to talk about. We haven't got it here yet. We should have it in the next month. But that test will be given when the officer has suspicion that the person is impaired by drug. And so an increased number of stop checks doesn't necessarily mean we're doing anything more than interacting with the driver and saying, have you had anything to drink today? Have you consumed any cannabis or marijuana products today? And if the answer is no and there's no signs of impairment, then that person is going along. Sometimes the ability to talk and educate people, if you get pulled over by the police and you know you ran a red light, sometimes that warning can be just as effective as the ticket. There's a time for both. Each situation would have to be judged on its own merit. So we might have officers that hit the ground tomorrow and come across a situation where someone is defiantly breaking the law and doesn't really care about it, where they might decide that they're going to write a ticket, where you might come across another person who, without intention says, oh, I didn't realize that. I thought this was fine. I thought being in Victoria Park was fine. And so maybe that's going to be an education. So I don't think I can give you a timeline on that, but I think it's, this nation is growing together on this issue. There's going to be bumps. It's going to be murky in many different ways. It's not necessarily going to be smooth, but I think we as police officers have a role to play in education as much as enforcement. We've put together a policy that is, I would say, is very similar to lots of other police agencies, which simply says that you have to come to work fit for duty. That's the way we handle alcohol, for example. So if a police officer on their own time wants to legally purchase and legally consume alcohol, they can. They just need to know that when they show up for work, whether that's first thing in the morning or on a night shift, that they're fit for duty.